Climbing any mountain above 6,000 meters isn't easy. These are serious environments where altitude, weather, and exhaustion can end your summit dream. Or worse. Every peak on this list demands preparation, the right gear, and solid fitness. Accidents can still happen, but if you've ever dreamed of standing on a truly high summit, these are the giants you're most likely to conquer. To rank them, I looked at 5 key factors: accessibility, technical difficulty, cost, danger, and success rate. Whether you're planning your first expedition or just exploring what's possible, these are the easiest high-altitude mountains you could actually climb. Let's jump in. We start with mountains that don't require ropes, ice axes, or years of mountaineering experience. Just determination, fitness, and the ability to handle extreme altitude. We fly over to Argentina. At 6,961 meters, Aconcagua is the highest mountain outside of Asia, and the tallest you can summit without ever touching a rope. Located in Argentina's Andes, it's often called the highest trekking peak in the world. That's not exactly fair. While it's true there's no technical climbing on the normal route, this mountain is still a serious challenge. It's high, it's cold, and it's long. The route itself is a steep, rocky trail that turns into snow and scree near the top. No ice walls, no crevasses, just a relentless climb through thin air. On summit day, most climbers spend 12 to 15 hours pushing for the top. The wind can be brutal, and temperatures often drop below -20. And yet, every year, thousands attempt it. Why? Because it's one of the few places on Earth where you can experience real altitude, close to 7,000 meters, without technical barriers. You don't need prior climbing experience. Just fitness, a solid acclimatization plan, and the mental grit to keep moving uphill. Still, Aconcagua shouldn't be underestimated. The success rate is around 40%, mostly because of altitude sickness, bad weather, or poor preparation. Every season, there are evacuations and rescues. Permits can cost up to $1,000 depending on the season, and a guided expedition ranges from $4,000 to $6,000. That's steep for a trekking peak, but compared to Himalayan logistics, it's still considered accessible. Aconcagua is often the first real mountain for people training for the 8,000-meter giants. It won't test your rope work or ice skills, but it will test your engine. And at this altitude, that's often all that matters. From the cold, windswept flanks of Aconcagua, we head north through the Andes. Not far from here, another mountain rises, quieter, stranger, and higher than it looks. This one doesn't pierce the clouds. It rises from the desert. On the border of Chile and Argentina stands a mountain that breaks records in silence. Ojos del Salado, at 6,893 meters, is the highest volcano on Earth, and one of the most surreal high-altitude climbs you can do without technical gear. Most people expect snow and glaciers at this height. What they find instead is a Mars-like desert. The Atacama is one of the driest places on the planet, and Ojos rises right out of it. You can drive a 4x4 to over 5,000 meters, meaning the actual climbing is shorter than most. The terrain is dry, covered in loose rock and scree. It's not exactly scenic, but it gets you there fast. The final 100 meters include a short rock scramble, sometimes aided with a fixed rope, but nothing truly technical. It's not without risk. The altitude hits hard because acclimatization is often rushed and the mountain is remote. If something goes wrong, help is far away. But for climbers who take their time and come prepared, the summit is very achievable. Success rates are high. Many guided trips report over 70%. Permits are cheap or free, depending on the route. And logistics can be handled without porters or base camp staff. It's one of the most cost-effective climbs in this altitude range. Some people do it for under $2,000 all in. Ojos del Salado won't test your climbing skills. It'll test your lungs, your hydration, and your tolerance for altitude headaches in a dusty alien landscape. But if you want nearly 7,000 meters without ropes, glaciers, or crevasses, this is one of the easiest giants you'll find. From the dry volcanoes and dusty ridgelines of the Andes, we leave South America behind. Next, we fly halfway across the world to the vast glaciated ranges of Central Asia, home to some of the highest, coldest, and most overlooked mountains on Earth. These peaks demand more time, more gear, and more commitment, but they're still within reach. Let's keep climbing. Lenin Peak, or Ibn Sina Peak, stands at 7,134 meters on the border of Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. It's one of the most climbed 7,000-meter mountains in the world, and one of the most accessible. The standard route follows a long glacier and broad snow slopes all the way to the summit. There are no steep ice walls, no technical rock, and no objective hazards like avalanches or seracs on the normal route. That's exactly why Lenin has become the go-to 7,000er for climbers looking to go higher without stepping into real danger. But don't let the popularity fool you. Lenin is still a high-altitude mountain. Storms roll in fast, temperatures drop below -30, and the summit day is long, sometimes more than 12 hours. The mountain has a tragic history, too. In 1974, an avalanche killed an entire Soviet women's team, and in 1990, another avalanche at Camp 2 took 43 lives in one of the worst disasters in mountaineering history. Today, with better forecasting and safer route planning, Lenin is far more manageable. Success rates vary by season, but for well-acclimatized climbers, it's achievable. Some companies offer guided trips for as little as $2,000 to $3,000. Gear, tents, food, and permits included. You can also go independently and keep costs even lower. Lenin Peak is the classic big mountain for first-timers. It's high, it's cold, and it will test your endurance, but it won't overwhelm you with danger or complexity. For many, this is where high-altitude mountaineering really begins. From the sweeping glaciers of Lenin Peak, we cross the border into China's Xinjiang province. Here, a massive dome of snow rises over the desert, isolated, silent, and nearly as tall as Everest's Camp 2. Welcome to Mustagh Ata. Mustagh Ata stands at 7,546 meters in western China. Its name means Father of Ice Mountains, and for good reason. Like a caring parent, this massive dome of snow and glacier is one of the most approachable high-altitude peaks in the world. From a distance, it doesn't look like a killer. The slopes are wide, steady, and gradual, more like an endless uphill march than a classic climb. That's what makes it famous. Many call it the easiest 7,500-meter peak on Earth. You can even ski it from the summit. The standard route follows long glacier fields with no technical sections. There's no steep rock, no ice walls, and no exposed ridgelines, just altitude. That's the real challenge here. At this height, everything slows down. Even experienced climbers can get altitude sickness if they push too fast. Weather can turn quickly, but overall, Mustagh Ata is considered low risk. There are few objective dangers, and success rates are solid for those who acclimatize properly. Most guided expeditions run between $3,000 and $5,000. That includes logistics, permits, and high camp support. It's not a cheap trek, but for a peak this high, it's one of the most efficient climbs you can buy. Mustagh Ata is where many climbers test their bodies above 7,500 meters before stepping up to an 8,000er. It's long, it's cold, and it takes real stamina. But it's also calm, predictable, and welcoming by high-altitude standards. Leaving the wide snowfields of Mustagh Ata, we fly west across the Pamirs. In the heart of Tajikistan, tucked between glaciers and granite, rises a quieter summit. High, remote, and often forgotten. This is Korzhenevskaya Peak. Korzhenevskaya Peak rises to 7,105 meters in the high Pamirs of northeastern Tajikistan. It's one of the 5 Soviet-era snow leopard peaks, and considered the most forgiving of the group. The climb begins with a long glacier approach through deep valleys and remote camps. The route itself is mostly snow and ice, but not steep or exposed. There's no technical crux, and no sections that require serious ice climbing or advanced rope work. In good conditions, it's a steady ascent all the way to the summit ridge. It's high, but not high risk. There's some avalanche danger on certain sections, especially after fresh snowfall, but overall, the mountain has a relatively low death rate. Most injuries come from weather, altitude, or accidents on the descent. Getting there is the hard part. The peak is deep inside the Pamirs. Reaching base camp usually involves a flight to Dushanbe, a long drive through rough terrain, and sometimes a helicopter drop. But once you are on the mountain, logistics are manageable. Guided expeditions are less common than on Lenin or Mustagh Ata, but experienced climbers often organize independent climbs with local support. The cost depends on how you approach it. Some teams do it for under $3,000. For others, with transport and full support, it's closer to $5,000. Korzhenevskaya doesn't have the fame of its neighbors, but for climbers looking to go above 7,000 meters on a safe, straightforward route, this peak is a quiet classic. From the icy corridors of Central Asia, we turn southeast into Nepal. Here, tucked between the Annapurna and Manaslu ranges, sits a hidden mountain few have heard of. It's high, remote, and surprisingly climbable. Welcome to Himlung Himal. Himlung Himal stands at 7,126 meters in a quiet corner of Nepal, near the Tibetan border. It doesn't get the attention of its neighbors, but in recent years it's become a popular goal for climbers looking to break the 7,000-meter barrier without taking on serious risk. The mountain sits between the better-known Annapurna and Manaslu massifs, but the route is calmer. The climb begins with a long trek through the Narfu Valley, remote, scenic, and still untouched by mass tourism. From base camp, the route follows wide snowfields and glaciated ridges. There are crevasses, and the altitude is real, but there are no steep ice walls, no rock sections, and very little technical terrain. Success rates are high, especially with guided teams. Many report 70% or higher. It's a steady, physical climb, but not a dangerous one. Avalanches and serac falls are rare on the standard route, and the camps are well protected. Permits for Himlung are cheaper than most 7,000-meter peaks in Nepal, and expeditions are surprisingly affordable. Some groups offer full logistics for under $4,000. That includes guides, porters, food, and climbing support. Himlung Himal is often used as a stepping stone for bigger climbs. It's high enough to test your lungs, long enough to feel like a real expedition, and quiet enough to feel like an escape. For many climbers, it's the perfect mix of isolation, altitude, and safety. From the silent glaciers of Himlung, we head west, deep into the Dhaulagiri range. Far from the crowded trails, a snow-covered dome rises above the clouds. Isolated, quiet, and often overlooked, this is Putha Hiunchuli. Putha Hiunchuli rises to 7,246 meters in the far western reaches of Nepal. It's part of the massive Dhaulagiri range, but unlike its famous neighbors, this peak remains quiet and far more forgiving. The climb is long and remote. Reaching base camp takes over a week of trekking through villages and valleys that rarely see tourists. But once you're on the mountain, the route is clean and predictable. The standard ascent follows wide snow slopes all the way to the summit. There are crevasses and the air is thin, but no steep ice, no rock walls, and no exposed ridges. It's often called the safest of Nepal's 7,000ers. Avalanche risk is low, and there are no technical cruxes. That's why it's become a popular training ground for climbers heading toward higher Himalayan goals. It gives you the altitude, the glacier travel, and the mental grind acts without the high-risk terrain. Expeditions usually take 3 to 4 weeks, including the long approach. Guided climbs start around $5,000, with logistics often organized through local outfitters in Kathmandu. Compared to peaks in the Everest region, it's quieter and more affordable. Putha Hiunchuli is still a serious mountain. Weather can shift fast, and summit day is long. But if you want a remote high-altitude challenge in Nepal, one that rewards persistence over technical skill, this is one of the best options out there. Leaving the quiet flanks of western Nepal, we fly northwest into Pakistan's Karakoram. Here, among jagged peaks and endless glaciers, rises a broad golden pyramid, striking, steady, and far less dangerous than it looks. This is Spantik. Spantik, also known as Golden Peak, stands at 7,027 meters in Pakistan's Karakoram range. From a distance, it looks intimidating. A massive snow-covered pyramid rising above the Chogolungma Glacier. But looks can be deceiving. Despite its dramatic shape, Spantik is one of the most approachable 7,000-meter peaks in the region. The standard route follows a long snow ridge, broad, steady, and with no extreme exposure. Most commercial expeditions fix ropes on the steeper sections, but the technical demands are low. There's no ice climbing, no vertical rock, and the route is relatively protected from objective hazards. Still, this is the Karakoram. The weather can be wild, and summit day is a real push. Climbers face a gain of over 1,000 meters in altitude, often in high winds and biting cold. But with proper acclimatization, the success rate is solid. Some guided teams report over 60%. The approach takes several days on foot, but it's scenic and less crowded than the Baltoro routes. That isolation comes with a bonus. Base camp views are spectacular, and you'll rarely be competing with other teams on the mountain. Expeditions typically cost between $4,000 and $6,000, depending on support level. That includes permits, porters, food, and climbing logistics. It's one of the few peaks in the Karakoram that offers a genuine high-altitude experience without high risk. For climbers who want to break into the big ranges without jumping straight into technical terrain, Spantic is an ideal proving ground. It looks like a monster, but it offers one of the smoothest paths into serious altitude. From the snowy ridgelines of Spantic, we head north into Tibet. Now we step into a different realm, the 8,000ers. At this altitude, nothing is truly easy. But among these giants, a few stand out as the most attainable. The first is Cho Oyu. Cho Oyu, at 8,188 meters, is the sixth highest mountain on Earth, and often called the most accessible of all the 8,000ers. It sits on the border between Nepal and Tibet, just 20 kilometers west of Everest. Unlike most peaks at this altitude, the standard route up Cho Oyu avoids major dangers. There are no towering seracs, no knife-edge ridges, and no extreme technical sections. The climb is mostly a slow, steady ascent across glaciated slopes and wide snowfields. That doesn't make it easy. At over 8,000 meters, every step is exhausting. Oxygen levels are critically low. Summit days often start at midnight, and the cold can be brutal. But what sets Cho Oyu apart is its predictability. The route is consistent, camps are well established, and fixed ropes cover the key sections. Success rates reflect that. In good seasons, guided teams report 60 to 70% summit success, extremely high for an 8,000-meter peak. Fatality rates are also lower than most. Cho Oyu has claimed lives, but far fewer than its neighbors like Annapurna, or K2. Cost is still a barrier. Full expeditions often range from $15,000 to $20,000, including permits, oxygen, and Sherpa support. But for climbers stepping into the world of true high altitude, Cho Oyu is considered the safest and most manageable entry point. It's still deadly serious, but in the world of the world's tallest mountains, Cho Oyu is as welcoming as they come. From the windswept slopes of Tibet, we make one last jump into the core of the Karakoram. This is where the climbing gets colder, steeper, and more remote. But even here, among giants, one peak stands out as the most achievable. Our final mountain is Gasherbrum II. Gasherbrum II, at 8,035 meters, is the 13th highest mountain in the world, and often considered the most approachable 8,000er in the Karakoram. It's part of the Gasherbrum Massif, a cluster of massive peaks near the Pakistan-China border. While its neighbors are steep, technical, and dangerous, Gasherbrum II has a reputation for being steady and consistent. The standard route follows glaciated slopes and broad ridgelines all the way to the summit. There are no technical ice faces or exposed rock spires, just altitude, weather, and endurance. But this isn't a trekking peak. The climb starts from a remote base camp reached only after a multi-day glacier approach. The mountain is cold, storms can hit fast, and summit day is long, often over 12 hours. Still, for climbers who've already experienced a 7,000er, Gasherbrum is a logical next step. Fatality rates are low for an 8,000-meter peak, around 2%. That's significantly safer than Nanga Parbat, Annapurna, or even Everest. Success depends on acclimatization, stable weather, and team coordination. Costs vary widely. With a guided team, climbers can expect to pay between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on services and oxygen use. Independent climbers can do it for less, but logistics in the Karakoram are challenging. Gasherbrum II is still massive, still deadly if underestimated, but it's a real chance to touch the death zone without the chaos of K2 or the crowds of Everest. High altitude climbing will never be easy, but these are the mountains that give you a real shot. If you're dreaming big, now you know where to start. Thanks for watching, and if you want more deep dive videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe.